Hey everyone, I'm Nico from Licks of the Beast. In this video, we're going to take a close look at 3 really cool licks from Janick Gers. Usually, when I hear people talk about Janick's solos, they tend to say things like he's wild, his tone is harsh, he can be a little sloppy, that sort of thing. Now, those things may well be true, but he also tends to play a lot of really cool and very unique licks, and that's what we're going to be looking at in this video. I'm going to be doing similar videos for Dave Murray and Adrian Smith as well, but I wanted to start with Janick because I've already done tutorials for Dave and Adrian solos, and I have discussed their playing styles a little bit. But I still haven't discussed Janick's playing at all, so I thought it was about time that I made up for that. So here we are. Let me start by saying that Janick's playing style is not really what I would consider heavy metal. I think it's more of a classic rock style taken to its extreme. He plays a lot of classic blues rock style licks, but he does it at twice their normal speed and sometimes with some really off the wall phrasing that can leave you scratching your head trying to figure it out. His playing has a harshness to it, a little bit like Angus Young from AC/DC. And while it's fair to say he can be a little sloppy live, that's just the inevitable result of his performance style. My first time seeing Iron Maiden was the No Prayer on the Road tour in 1991, and it was, of course, shortly after Adrian left the band and Janick took his spot. And though I was sad that my favorite guitar player was no longer in my favorite band, I still really liked the No Prayer for the Dying album very much. I found Janick's solos to be really cool, and I thought the show was phenomenal. Janick brought an energy to the stage that was absolutely contagious. I mean, you could tell the whole band was feeling it because they were intense. Even Dave was running all over the stage. It was crazy. The following year, I got to do a little meet and greet with Janick and Dave at the local rock radio station in Montreal when they were in town promoting Fear of the Dark. Both guys were absolute sweethearts. We chatted briefly, and of course I was completely starstruck, and at the end we shook hands, and I just got a really good feeling from Janick. He seemed like a genuine, solid guy, and I guess it's hard to put into words when it's just a feeling you get, but I felt like I totally understood why they chose him and not one of the thousands of virtuosos they could easily have picked. But this video is not about Janick's great personality or any of that other stuff. This one is all about the licks. So let's get right into it. Here are 3 Janick Gers licks you really need to know. The first lick we're going to look at is the opening lick to his solo in Fear of the Dark. It goes something like this. This is a hard-hitting lick with solid double stops, heavily marked accents, and a really nice flurry at the end. The key is D minor, and he's using the Dorian mode. Dorian is the same as natural minor, but with a major sixth instead of a minor sixth. That gives it a little more brightness, and it makes the sound a little more hopeful, even though it's still very much a minor scale. So here is the natural minor scale. And this is the Dorian mode. So one more time, natural minor and Dorian. Now let's look at that lick again a little bit slower. The bend on the E string from F to G is a little bit tricky because he doesn't ease into the target note. Instead, he slams right into it and holds it deadpan, without a wide vibrato or any other embellishment. That makes the technique more simple, but also much less forgiving, as you have to hit the exact pitch on the spot. So, if this is your target note, you have to hit it right away. You can't be flat or sharp. If it's off, you can't course correct, so your string bending skills need to be on point. That's something that always impresses me about seeing Janick live. His bends are always spot on, even when they come from out of nowhere. So, here's that lick one last time. next lick I want to show you is the opening lick from For the Greater Good of God. This is a bit of a weird lick, but it sounds so cool and it's definitely very unique. So we're in the key of E minor, and he starts the lick with an A minor arpeggio. Now those notes are from the E minor scale, but to play them in that sequence suggests A minor. So I'm going to play those notes over an A. That sounds natural. And now here they are over an E. See how that sounds a little bit unsettling? But then when he ends up on these notes, the F sharp and the G, that's the second and minor third of E minor, and all of a sudden it feels right. So that first part is just enough outside the box to catch your ear. From there, it becomes kind of a blues lick as he's playing the composite blues scale. So here's the composite blues scale. And here's the rest of the lick. The second half of the lick is just a series of trills using a mix of the Dorian mode and blues scale. Reminds me a little bit of Randy Rhoads, actually. So let me play the whole lick a little bit slower. And here it is at speed. The last lick I want to look at is one of my very favorite Janick Gers licks, the final lick of his solo from Sign of the Cross. From the first time I heard it, I thought it was the coolest thing. It goes something like this. What I find so cool about that lick is that it has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the solo, so it really comes from out of nowhere. Up until that point, it's been full speed ahead, 1/16th note flurry after another, and then he just decides to go into this Chuck Berry thing. I mean, who does that? So the solo is in G minor, and for this lick we're playing a minor blues scale. And here we switch to Dorian. And what's interesting is that last note is a 1.5 step bend to the 6th, the E flat, which is kind of odd, but it leads perfectly into the next section, which goes back to the key of E minor and begins on an E. Now, I don't know if this was just a happy accident or if Janick actually thinks this stuff out, but man, it totally works. So let me play that one for you one more time slowly. And one time at speed. Well, that's it for this week's video. I really hope you got at least one takeaway from this one, whether it be a newfound appreciation for Janick's style, curiosity to look at some of his solos a little more closely, or even an idea that you can borrow and blend into your own playing. And before signing off, I just wanted to say that it's so great that more of you are subscribing, as it's slowly helping this channel to grow, and I'm very grateful for that. I always appreciate your thumbs up, and I really enjoy chatting with you all in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all soon with more licks of the beast.